What is going on, everybody, and welcome to your Tuesday touchdown. It's nothing personal, just Bills, hosted by your guy right here, JTM, and I got my co-host in the building with me, former NFL running back James Mallory. J Mal, what's going on? What's going on? How you feeling, brother?
What's up, man? A big win. Let's get it.
Big win. Early Christmas gift, or actually late Christmas gift for a lot of Bills fans and Bills of Mafia. Bills going up to Foxborough and defeating the New England Patriots. 31 to what they beat him? What score? I forgot that. I forgot the score already, man. Look at me. I'm messing up.
33-21?
33-21. Yes, that is it. 33-21. We don't want to jump them on no points. We know a lot of y'all betting is legal everywhere, and those points matter to y'all. Who bet? I don't bet. I'm a little afraid to do that. I can't risk no money on it. I have a hard enough time playing fantasy football. But the Bills went up into Foxborough and they handled business. Now, if you guys were on the show, or actually in the Cold Front Report show a couple weeks ago after the Bucs game, this is the post-game show, told Clayton and Travis that after the Bills had that second half comeback of the Buccaneers, and I'm going to pull the clip. Not tonight, but I'm going to pull the clip. I said the Bills were not going to lose another game. They're going to win out, and they're going to win AFC East, that you could book it. You guys know when I say the words book it, I'm serious. Admit it. It shocked me at all. They went up to Foxborough and beat up on them like that. It didn't shock me at all. Like I said, don't get me wrong. That Patriot team it's a tough team, but they're overachieving, meaning that they're not really a 9-4 team. They were never a team that was in the first place of the AFC East. Really, they weren't built like that. And I said the other night that Mookie Hawkins will be joining us too here in a minute. Bills beat report Mookie Hawkins will be joining us in a minute. I said before, on no football field where there's not 45-mile-per-hour winds or inclement weather is McCorkle Jones going to beat the Buffalo Bills. I'll repeat that. On no football field where there's not 45-mile winds or some type of crazy snowstorm or a bunch of injury, a bunch of COVID outs, is McCorkle Jones going to beat Josh Allen in the Buffalo Bills. Just stop it. It wasn't going to happen.
You called it.
It wasn't going to happen, and it didn't happen. James, Allen was heard saying post-game, walking to the locker room, who the bleep did they think I am? In the great words of the bowler, I forgot my bowler man that said that who did they think he was? Who did they think he was, James?
They thought he was somebody to play with, I guess, because man, Josh Allen, man, I mean that performance, this speaks volumes, man, of the player he is, and he's grown to be, man. That dude came out and he really, really, really just kind of took it personal, man. Just kind of was like, hey, man, we need this win. We're going to get this win. That 1 yard, that 4th and 1, that run, I don't understand. I think people don't understand how difficult that run was for him to make one person miss, fit in between, and get skinny, as we call it, and just get the first down, man. By all means, you get it. Oh man, I was very impressed with his performance. Gutsy. He didn't press, man. That's the Josh Allen that we love to see. The Josh Allen is not pressing. He didn't make plays, but he didn't try to play the hero ball, as people like to call it. He didn't, he stepped up, but he didn't press too hard, too much. That's when crazy things happen. And that he looked comfortable. I'm hoping that's things to come for him in the future, especially when it come down to clutch situations. I always feel comfortable with Josh Allen in clutch situations. I feel he's came through for us in a lot of big situations. Sometimes his team will let him down, but that's a whole nother story. But I mean, he showed them, hey, listen, right now, we running this AFC East for a while. We here, and we want to run this thing for a while. So I love his attitude. That's what we've been missing here in Buffalo for quite some time, that type of personality of a leader. Somebody is very confident in his ability and confident in his teammates. So I love the message that he sent to not just the Patriots, but the AFC East and the AFC while you playing. He let Mahomes and them know too. Hey, we right here.
You know what I love about Josh Allen, and excuse my language here, is he's not just a quarterback. He's an athlete. He's an athlete. And when he gets pissed off, you may have a big problem. He seems like the type of guy where if you're playing a game of 21 basketball or fumble rumble, whatever you want to call it, when you know games we played with these kids, and he's losing and he's pissed off, someone's getting clothesline. Somebody's getting clothesline.
Yeah.
And that's what I love most about him. Is that the fact that he doesn't sulk. He gets pissed off. You know who used to get pissed off like that too? Tom Brady. Still gets pissed off to this day.
Yeah.
People laugh and when he breaks iPads and tablets and stuff like that. But then the next game, you have a problem on your hands. And I love that we have that in Buffalo. I know a lot of the older women say, oh, he shouldn't use that language. And no, use it. Use it. Another thing I loved. I'm one for players treating fans in a nice manner. I'm all for that. You know what I mean? I go to a lot of games. I like when I see, the players play with the kids before games, sign autographs and things of that such. But our guy Stephon Diggs has some choice words for the Patriots faithful. And you know what? End of the day, I loved it. I've been wanting to tell a Patriot fan for the last 15 years to shut the blank up.
Yep. I feel you.
Yes. Thank you. Please shut up. They have way too much faith in Bill Belichick. I said from the moment Tom Brady left that he was never going to rebuild this thing. It was never going to happen. There's just like the Bills fans thinking when Jim Kelly left that Marv Levy was going to automatically just rebuild it. It was not going to happen. Like I said, I give Bill his credit. I give him his credit. The most prepared coach in the history of NFL. But if you think that he's that great without Tom Brady, you're crazy. You're tripping. He's not. You expected the McCorkle to beat us?
Yeah, that man.
Come on,
he was
man.
exposed bad, JT. He was exposed, man.
The boy can't stretch the ball down the field. I've been saying it all season. He can't stretch the ball down the field. It was going to come a game when he had to stretch it. He couldn't do it.
Teams
but Josh
Allen
Allen
play him different now too. The last 2 games of the season, he's going to see a lot of different looks, man. They gonna get after him. They gonna force that team to throw the ball.
I mean, I tell you what, if I'm a defense right now, I watch that game. This kid has a noodle arm. I'm pressing my defensive backs and everybody I'm punching everybody in the line of scrimmage. I'm putting 8 in the box. Run the ball if you don't run the ball. Run it against this 8-man front. And I dare you to beat me over the top with a Nelson Aguilar, a Kendrick Bourne, a Hunter Henry, a Jonnu Smith, or
They're not
N-Kill.
even using Jonnu Smith.
They don't know how to use Jonnu Smith. When they signed Jonnu Smith to that contract, he's not an elite tight end. He was the fourth, fifth option at Tennessee. 4th to 5th option.
Yeah.
He's not an elite tight end. You thought you were going to beat the Buffalo Bills with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith? Was that your game plan going into the season, to beat the Buffalo Bills with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith? That ain't Aaron Hernandez and Gronkowski.
No.
Not even close. Not even close. I don't know what they was thinking, but I don't want to spend too much time on them because I want to talk about us and what we did. And what we did is we went into Foxborough and we punched them in the mouth. We punched them in the mouth like we were supposed to. We out-physicaled them. We outplayed them. We made plays. And yes, that 4th down play by Josh Allen, when he made his initial plant in the ground, with his first cut, the cut between, I think it was J.C. Jackson, may have been Van Noy, he was still 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Yep. That was huge. They had him dead to rights, man. They had him dead to rights. Man, if you see the one, he had a hesitation move kind of going outside before he made planted his foot upfield and just planted his foot and got upfield. Man, that made all the difference in the world, man. They had him. I didn't think he was gonna get it. I'm like, oh, damn. First thing I said, I was about to start talking stuff, and the next thing you know, the man get 7, 8 yards. I loved it, man. That right there, that was a turning point right there for me. Like, you could just feel the energy in the team shift after that play.
I mean, I thought it was big. I thought it was big. I thought it was big for our current team. I think it was big for our future. I think that was your dethroning. And I've said a couple weeks when we were talking that that's the proper way to dethrone them. Play a late season game, go into Foxborough when everybody always says no one wants to go into Foxborough at that time of year, and beat them, punch them in the mouth.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. So, I mean, like I said, I'm glad, I'm grateful for it. And I think that his performance, I think his performance put him back in the MVP race. And I still think the MVP race is wide open. I think he'll come up a little short because of the couple games earlier in the season. But I definitely think it propels him back in the MVP race. I think it definitely shows why he was a snub for the Pro Bowl.
It should be a federal investigation done in regards to it. You know what? It's preposterous, man. Like, it's an embarrassment to the league how they dropped the ball with that one. I mean, there's no way you're going to sit here and tell me he's not a Pro Bowl player. Not alternate, but a Pro Bowl player.
Yeah.
It should be an investigation put into the league. Something. That's just crazy. But honestly, JT, I don't know if he's that much out of it. If we come in and win out, right? Say Josh Allen averages, let's throw a number out there, 350 and 3 touchdowns these last 2 games. So if he finished with 4 passing touchdowns and 700 yards passing these last 2 games, I don't know, it'd be hard not to give it to him, man. He'd be right there. And then, you know, the Bills finish, we would be 11-6 at that point, winning the AFC East. I don't know, man. He's right there.
That's interesting because I wonder if there's ever been a Pro Bowl player or MVP who did not make the Pro Bowl. That'd be one hell of a stat.
That would be egg. If you don't, that would be egg all over the face of the NFL, the league. That's crazy.
While we're on the topic, right? Who do you think was the bigger snub, Josh Allen or Jordan Poyer?
I have to say Jordan Poyer.
I agree with you. I think Jordan Poyer was the bigger snub.
You can't name 5 safeties in the NFL better than him. The whole NFL, just flat out better. We can debate it, but you can't name 5 just like, he's definitely better.
Right.
Name 5 that's definitely better right now. Very difficult to do. We got the best safety tandem in the NFL, but you can't just say it's 5 safeties that's just flat out better than him.
Do you think that's why he got snubbed, though? Do you think why each one of these guys keep getting snubbed because they're the best tandem in the league? Do you think they hurt themselves? Do you think that they hurt themselves by playing together as a duo? As crazy as that may sound, now mind you, I know that sounds crazy as hell because it is. But do you think that because they're the best duo in the league, that it hurts both of them for getting things like this, like accolades?
It could, because they could look at like, oh, well, they piggybacking off each other. He's good because of him. I don't know. They both should be in.
Well, last year the thing was Poyer didn't have the interceptions. They said, although Tyrann Mathieu you had year before when you got Earl Thomas in there, and I think he had like 4 interceptions and like 30, 40 tackles, and Poyer had 100 tackles because I think there was like 3 consecutive years where Poyer had 100 tackles. And they said, well, he didn't have the turnovers. So then last year it was Tyrann Mathieu that snubbed over him. Mathieu, I think, had about 40 tackles, about 6, 7 interceptions, and he has some big plays. So you could kind of argue there. I didn't agree with it, but you could argue there. But this year, Poyer has 5 interceptions, still has the tackles, and you still don't let him in. At this point, it's comical.
And it's possible he could be an all-pro, but not a Pro Bowler.
Another stat I would like to see if how many all-pros were not named to the Pro Bowl team. And then you know what, I know Bills Mafia is we are always known for saying it always happens to us. It's always us here because we're a small market. Well, if that happens, especially those 2 things where Allen is named MVP and then get voted to a Pro Bowl, or has gotten as an alternate, and the same thing for Jordan Poyer as an all-pro but then not a Pro Bowler, they have full right then to say it's us. Because we're a small market. Full 110%.
Well, I think a small market plays into it. Do you know off the top of your head who's the AFC and NFC safeties?
I believe it's Byard, Matthew, and I think Derwin James may have got it. I think my man Kenny Riggleman got us right here. I believe that's who got it. I know they put it in the chat. I can check while you're talking about it. But I believe that was your safeties who got in. But the reality is he has just as many turnovers, more tackles. Every year he has more tackles than most of the guys. Maybe outside of Derwin James, who's been injured, or Derwin James is if anybody that deserves it, Derwin still deserves it because Derwin plays.
He get hurt, he bounce back like nothing happened.
Right, every facet of the game, just like Jordan. I think some of these other safeties are limited. I don't see Byard in the run game like Poyer, and I don't see Matthew. I don't know. I mean, they use them all across the board in different things, but I understand what they think his responsibility is on the defense and importance is, but Jordan Poyer is just as important to the Bills' defense as Tyrann Mathieu.
But Tyrann Mathieu is an easy pick because of the name he got. It's a very easy and lazy pick by the league. And I'm not taking nothing away from him. It's easy and it's lazy. Just like, I'm not saying Tom Brady don't deserve it. He's having an MVP caliber year. But like picking Tom Brady, it's a lazy. I mean, it's easy and safe to pick him. It's easy. And that's how I kind of look at it. Like with Tyrann Mathieu, it's easy to you can always justify putting him in the Pro Bowl. You know what I mean? So I think that's where in that situation, that's what kind of happened. Another one who I think may be an overall top 3 best safety in the game is Adrian Amos. And people don't talk about him much. He's probably he's top 3 safety in the NFL for the Packers.
Green Bay, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is
what it is.
He's one of the top 3 safeties in the NFL. You never hear anybody talk about him.
I'm happy we talked about that because we hadn't touched on that. And I did want to get your opinion on the Pro Bowl voting and what's going on with that. Like I said, I think for the most part, the NFL gets it right for the most part of the year, but there's some really bad stuff.
Sometimes you just can't. It messes. They're about 98% right, but the 2% they get wrong is very, very bad.
Because it's an exclusive club. Yeah. It's not like it's a very exclusive club. So who knows? You guys know there'll be like 22 people that pull out a Pro Bowl. So some of these guys will be going. Hopefully we will not be going because we'll be playing the Super Bowl. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But I want to get back to the Buffalo Bills and who the blank that the Patriots think Allen was. Do you think that he shocked them with his play?
I don't think he shocked them. What I do think shocked them is the solid play at offensive line. They thought they were going to come in and punk them. That's what they thought, to be honest with you. They probably thought they were going to punk them. And that kind of takes Allen away. If you chilling in the backfield, he's not as effective. Offensive line was able to block. Josh Allen was able to make some plays. I think that's what they were banking on. I think they were banking on just chumping them up front. And man, that what people are not talking about. I know we're talking about Josh right now. People love to get on the offensive line and dog the offensive line.
Right.
Give them their props, man. Them boys balled out on Sunday. Everybody loves the bash. They suck. They're below average. They're this, blah, blah, blah. Man, they kept them clean. They took care of their quarterback, man. They took care of him against a pretty good front. With Matt Judon, he's not a bum. And he was very, very, very quiet. And
very interesting, too.
We're not talking about bums. Them dudes was bringing it. The line took care of business.
Very interesting point on Judon. Right after the game, he tested positive for COVID the next day. So that's gonna be something to watch out for this week. I don't know how the close contact things work, but it was literally right after that game where he tested positive. So very interesting to see. We've had our fair share of COVID lately in Buffalo.
But the thing is, was shaky about that. He tested negative before the game. He had to because they test before the game.
Right.
Then it's just this whole thing just sucks with COVID.
It does. It's awful. It's horrible. So moving on, I do want to talk about Bill Belichick a little bit here, and do we feel that Josh Allen's kryptonite? Because the respect that Bill has to give Josh, it seems like it's so hard for him to game plan for Josh Allen. It seems like it's very difficult for him. And it's something that definitely something he's never faced in the AFC East, especially twice a season. He's played against Aaron Rodgers here and there. He's played against Michael Vick and players like that, but not someone he had to coach against twice a year.
Yeah.
And Josh is seeing him just as much as he's seeing Josh.
How many franchise quarterbacks been in this division in the last 25 years?
With Belichick here, I mean,
Exactly.
I don't think we can name one. I don't think we can name one.
JT?
I don't think we can name one. The only franchise quarterback that was in the division was obviously, they pulled Peyton Manning and them out. I forgot, was that like early 2000s?
Was that 98, 99 they pulled them out?
Yeah, they pulled them out before I think Bill was in Patriots even making their run. So he was gone. And I mean, about the time they pulled him out, he was only in his second year. The only franchise quarterback that was in the AFC I can really think about was Drew Bledsoe, and he traded Drew here, knowing his limitation and flaws.
Yep.
That was it.
Yeah. Think about it.
Yeah.
Would you all say Tannehill in Miami?
No.
Exactly. Mark Sanchez. I mean, that's what he
faced. Yeah, that's Chad Pennington he faced a couple times, multiple teams, Miami and New York. Ray Lucas was another one that he faced, probably. Maybe Culpepper for a year or two. His toughest task, that probably was Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Because when Miami was beating New England, they were running Wildcat. If people remember correctly. It wasn't really quarterback play. It was the Wildcat.
Yeah, with
and
Ronnie Brown in them.
Right, Ronnie Brown and Ricky Williams. It was a Wildcat. So he's never faced anybody like Josh Allen, especially twice a year. And I feel like Bill's pulling his hair out. And I don't think he can coach against him.
Yeah. I mean, this is making him think a little bit different twice a year when you got to play against somebody like Josh Allen. And even now, you got to respect him as Tua. You got to respect Tua a little bit now too. So, I mean, this is something he's really going to have to. He's going to have to gain. He's going to have to stay up a little bit longer. Twice a year, dealing with Josh Allen, man, because Josh Allen is a problem. But the question is Josh Allen, Bill Belichick's kryptonite? I'm going to say right now, no. I think it's more McDermott because McDermott's not scared of him.
No, McDermott ain't backing down.
I would say McDermott took on that challenge when he said, "Hey, let's not give him more credit than what he deserves." I believe that's something like that. McDermott ain't scared of him. He's not backing down from that challenge. He want all the smoke. I think right now McDermott is more of the kryptonite than Bill Belichick. Or for Bill Belichick.
And we're gonna be talking about McDermott tonight too, because I mean he definitely deserves his roses tonight and some praise. The coach went in there. He got really ballsy. He came he came out of character. Like I said before from the first matchup, that post-game press conference was so out of character for him that I had never seen him have a press conference where I felt like he came unhinged. And I just believe that led to what we did in this game and his overly aggressive manner, which I think we shocked us all. It shocked us all. No doubt about it. But no, I don't know if and we'll move on after a second. I don't know if Josh is Bill's kryptonite. I would say this is his toughest task. This is definitely his toughest coaching task since he's been to AFC East. As we went through the quarterbacks, and someone put I think my man Kenny Wiggleman put up there. Don't forget about Vinny Testaverde. So I mean, right. But that's the names that we're mentioning about his toughest QB task. Opponent, and Brett Favre was only here for one season.
Fitzpatrick, I mean,
that didn't even get us far. You know what I mean? So it could have been that. You know, I'm gonna say yeah. And like I said before the season, if Bill was smart, knowing how good Josh Allen is, and knowing how good of a coach Sean McDermott is, should took the Giants job. Take the Giants. Just go. You don't have to prove anything here. Just go.
That's a bad job right now.
I bet it'd be a great job if he went there. You got a front seven, get them, and then built everything up for you. Just go to New York. Go back home. Go back to where they told you were not head coach material, Bill. No, we're not gonna blink an eye. You can leave McCorkle and Josh McDaniels right here. The Mac and Mac show. When the Bills take the AFC East every season. You don't have to stay here. You don't have anything to prove to us, Bill. We know you're a good coach. Just go on. Leave McCorkle and McDaniels to us. We'll handle the rest for you. Don't even worry about it. They'll never get back to Super Bowl without you. Trust me. We got that fully under control.
Definitely.
But, I know you guys know we normally do bad takes. But this week was such a positive week. I'm not going to lie. It was hard to search for bad takes. People were very confident going to this game from looking, and people were very positive and happy after. Maybe it was the holidays. Maybe it was Christmas was finally here. Christmas everybody had fun and got with family, and then boom, the Bills come beat the New England Patriots in Foxborough, and actually the first team to win back-to-back games in Foxborough since the Indianapolis Colts, I think in like 2005 or 6, something like that. So big stat there. It's not easy to wear in Foxborough ever, period. But we do have one bad take, and it is from the Greg Hill Show. A Patriot fan called in and just let them have it about Mac Jones and his arm strength and Belichick. It brings great joy and delight to anybody in Bills Mafia that has suffered over the last 20 years to hear a Patriot fan get on the radio and just whine like this and cry as if you haven't had 20 years of just dominating football where it was Super Bowl or bust it's just absurd in the NFL. But we're going to play this clip, man. This is, I forgot what the guy's name was, but this is from the Greg Hill Show, a Patriot-based show, and this is your bad take of the night.
Are you serious with this? You think the Patriots need a new what?
Listen, the Patriots, the rookie wall, there's no such thing as a rookie wall with this kid. He's got a rag arm. He couldn't throw in that windstorm. The other guy threw the ball all over the park. And then yesterday proved it. Receivers, no receivers. Skill players, no skill receivers. The kid playing quarterback ain't our future. The future of the NFL is over in Buffalo. That guy, 6'4", 230, runs right by you, throws it 90 yards. And the other thing I want to say is Belichick hasn't won butt kiss without Tom Brady. So to be overinflated on this Bill Belichick, great defense, let's run the ball. Yeah, Bill Parcells did that back in the 80s. So is that where we're going here with this team? Come on, it's over. AFC goes through Buffalo for 20 years, not us. It's over.
Wow, Bobby, bringing the high heat.
Curtis would have loved that.
Oh, man, bro. That dude, he said he had a rag arm.
He was over it. He was not happy about it.
Oh, man. I was crying laughing when I heard that one, man. That kid has a rag arm. He said, man, what are you going to do, line up and run the ball? I see you did that with Parcells in the 80s. This is what we're going for.
Listen, that was pretty funny.
Oh, man. I'm crying over here. You guys know I cry easy laughing because he's so mad. And, I feel him because when Bill signed Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith to those massive contracts, I said, what are you trying to do? Recreate the Hernandez and Gronk combo? Like, what are you doing? These dudes can't even draw the line that Gronk and Aaron Hernandez walked on. Hey, what are you doing, man? I don't know. That was our bad take of the week from the Greg Hill Show. That was an angry Patriots fan.
It's crazy because Jonnu Smith and N'Keal Harry, they literally just a blocking receiver and a blocking tight end. That's all they do. They're there to block. They physical in the run game.
My thing is, N'Keal Harry is so bad. He is so bad. He is a bad football player.
That's a product of you running screens and them gadget offenses in college, right?
Yeah.
And he succeeds with that. And then a combine freak of nature physically. You make drafting mistakes, drafting errors that way.
He's so bad, dude. He's a terrible football player. And I hope that his mom or somebody doesn't see this show because I don't like talking about anybody like that.
I think they're misusing him. They want him to run the route tree. If you go back to college, he never really ran the route tree.
Everything was fades.
Yeah, you got throwing bubble screens and fades and stuff like that. But he's not gonna run the route tree.
Kenny Riggleman says, "I'm glad the Patriots drafted Harry over Debo." And if you go back some years back, they also told Bill Belichick also told Thomas Dimitroff when he was the Falcons GM to draft to not trade up for Julio Jones when he get the same receiver, and I think it was James Baldwin from Pitt. so, yeah, right. And then my man Evan Zinger says, "I remember when Harry asked for a trade at the beginning of the year. Like, who the hell are you to ask for a trade?" I said the same thing. I was talking to my brother yesterday about that, and I'm like, "This dude legit asked for a trade the offseason, and no one called. No one's calling for you, bro."
You want to know the funny thing? He would kill here in Buffalo.
He probably would, just like Justin Hunter.
They're not using him right. It's not. I'm not gonna say he's bad.
Mm-hmm.
They're not using him right. He's not going to run the route tree. That's just not what he's going to do. You need to throw him quick bubble screens.
Mm-hmm.
He's creative with the ball in his hands. Throw him fades. He's physical. I mean, think about pairing him with Stephon Diggs.
I don't want it. I don't want him. I don't want him, James. I'm sorry.
I hear you because you got a dude that's that physical and that size and that speed. You put him with Stephon Diggs. You put him with Gabe Davis. You let him work a little bit. He probably could be productive. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be a 1,200-yard receiver, but he could be productive. I think so. He's not what I wouldn't have drafted him in the first round.
No, you know, you're probably right. He probably could be productive, but I know a guy named David Culley down there in Houston. He needs a little bit of help at receiver. So I'm going to recommend that, hey, man, you go sign that 2-year deal in Houston and go and develop yourself, son.
They still got him on the contract for another couple of years, Harry.
He won't be after this season, I'll tell you that. Either by his choice or theirs, mostly theirs, he won't be there no more. This ship is sailed. But I want to talk about Sean McDermott's aggressiveness in this game. Extremely aggressive. A lot of people were saying that Sean McDermott is a conservative coach. And I've been on the boat of saying you develop. How can I say this the right way? Okay, I'm just going to say it. You develop balls as years go on, right?
Yeah.
You didn't see John Harbaugh, and John Harbaugh is one of the most aggressive coaches. You didn't see him get aggressive until really he got Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin is aggressive as well, but you didn't see that till like Ben Roethlisberger was in like his 9th or 10th year. It usually coincides with the type of quarterback that you have and how much confidence you have. That's where coaches get ballsy. Andy Reid's been in this league, but it seems like almost 30 years. And I can't remember any times where he was like really ballsy with Alex Smith at quarterback or Kevin Cobb or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So did it surprise you or how aggressive McDermott came back, or did his press conference from last game, did that tell you like, hey, he's coming out here, he ain't playing any more games? Did something snap in him?
Yeah. And I think that game when they lost to New England, 3 runs, I think he took that personal. Being a defensive-minded guy, or 3 passes, excuse me. I think he took that personal because that literally, they stood toe-to-toe with you and they just literally bullied you. As a defensive-minded coach, you're going to take that personal. That's the last thing you want somebody to do is run the football right down your face the whole game and win the game. And throw the ball 3 times. 3 times. And I think that kind of woke him up. You know, I think he's a great mind, and people got to realize he's still a young head coach, man. What's this, year 5 for him?
Year 5, yeah, right.
Yeah, he's what you call a young head coach. A lot of these head coaches that you're talking about with elite teams, they've been head coaches for a really long time. They've learned a lot. They've took their lumps. We're still dealing with a young head coach who I think is doing a hell of a job. I mean, I think we got to still. If I was a Panthers fan, I would be pissed. If you look at what they got going on there, you let McDermott and Bean walk right out of there and go build a whole nother franchise. It's just they shining. There's no way that was supposed to leave your building.
No, you know, you're exactly right. And I somehow I think in their contract when we took them both, it was a trade, a behind the scenes trade, a trade no one knew about, that we had to take Star Latu like for 5 years and $50 million along with them because something had to balance that thing out. Dan LaRocca says, but they got Cam back.
I get why they signed Star though. Star's not a bad player. I like Star, but I get why they signed Star, and it was a very
I get it.
reason why. I get it. Did they overpay? Yeah.
The years. It was the years. It wasn't the money. And that's to say, this is something I've always said about the deal for Star Lotulelei. And like I said, I want to get too far off track. We'll go back to McDermott in a second. The problem with the deal for me for Star Lotulelei has always been the years, because the way the contract is set up, you couldn't get out of it. And the market at that time, I believe it was him and Jonathan Hankins, and I believe Dontari Poe were your top 3 defensive tackles in the market that year. And I believe Poe and Hankins only got 1-year deals for their teams that they signed with. So the market didn't call for the Bills to give them 5 years. If they wanted to give them the $10 million, I believe we had like $80, $90 million in cap space. So it didn't matter. I don't care about the money. If you felt you needed that and we knew that we had to overpay in Buffalo to get that, I was fine with that. But the 5 years was way too aggressive. And I think it was an aggressive play for somebody they were comfortable with. But then at the same time, I also have to look at the other end of the spectrum when I go back and look at it in hindsight 2020 and say, well, this is Brandon Beane's first general manager job. This is Sean McDermott's first head coaching job.
Don't forget where we were as an organization at that point in time.
Correct.
Too. When you're a bad organization, you got to overpay.
Right.
That's just what it is, because nobody's going to sign up to come to a bad team who hasn't been in the playoffs in 20 years. Like, okay, I'll sign for where I can go to this team. You got to overpay. You have to a little bit. And I think that was the circumstances there.
And like I said, I never want to harp on the signing because the Bills needed a one-tech defensive tackle. Okay, they really, really needed one. And obviously, I was okay with signing Lotulelei. I thought he would play better than what he did being here, but I was okay with the money if you had to pay for it. I just wasn't okay with the years. And obviously, with the opt-out, it made it harder for us to even get out of the deal. It extended a year to get out to the opt-out clause part.
Yeah.
So either way, I don't want to harp on too much. I do want to touch on really quickly as a former player. Now, we know he's out of this game for personal reasons. He took the year off last year. Obviously, we know some things happened with his family, and there are some immunocompromised people in his family. I'm not going to specify who. Do you think that the fire for football is still there with Lotulelei? And when you were playing the league, how many guys would you say, percentage-wise, in the league really just play the game because it's financially pleasing and not because they actually truly love it?
I'm not gonna get too much into it.
Right.
A lot of guys, it gets tricky. But I could tell you this: there's a lot of people that's watching the show right now who your job is cool. You make good money, so you're not just gonna stop doing it, right? You got a family, you got bills, mortgage, all the other fun stuff. So it's like, if you good at your job, you may not like it. You probably gonna stay there, right? If you don't, you're gonna stay there. So I tell people that all the time. Just because they're professional football players, that don't mean that they all love football. I was a guy. I love football. I loved everything about it. I love the grind. There were teammates of mine from college and pro, whether it be arena or whatever the case may be. They didn't like football, and it was a situation where they were good at it. Like some guys don't like, I don't know, fixing cars. You make good money, but guess what? You don't like it, but hey, I'm gonna do it because I got to feed my family. And a lot of guys in the locker room are like that. I'm not sure if he lost the love for football, and they say personal. I mean, it could be multiple different things. So that's just two things you really don't come at people about, and you kind of leave alone in the NFL locker room. That's their money and their personal life, their family. Off limits. We don't talk about that. So if it is a family situation, something like that going on, I respect it. I respect everything about that. Man, take your time. Family first. God, family, football. In that order. God, family, football. So, you take care of that, and then you come back. And I'm pretty sure that the team understands that. You never know. He might be going through hard times with his wife. I mean, he might have somebody sick. You never know. But, we'd love to have him out there. But, I know fans are a little annoyed by it because it's like he missed so much time in the last 2 football seasons. It's like, dude, just ball. But at the end of the day, too, it comes back to it is you have a job to do, and that's to play football. You're being paid to play football, so you do have a job. You have a job to do, and me personally, I take that very seriously. Because I have 53 or 52 other guys and coaches who depend on me to meet this common goal, and that's to win this AFC East, win the AFC, and ultimately, hopefully, win the Super Bowl. So, let's get him back out there, see what happens. I'm a Star Lotulelei guy. I understand what he's there for, but to be quite real with you, I think the fire he probably had 5 years ago is probably gone. It's probably gone.
Yeah.
And that's just my feeling. I don't know him personally. I don't know much about it personally, but I got a feeling his fire for it is gone. And it's his time in Buffalo is probably up. Everything got to start and everything got to end. And I think his is coming to an end here.
Yeah, June 2nd. It's Star Lotulelei Day, and that's gonna be. I'm telling you, it's gonna be. That's gonna be the end of it. I mean, at June 2nd, I think they saved financially. I believe they saved like $5.4 million in cap space by letting them go, and I think that the dead cap at that point is only like something like 1.5 to 2 mil.
He got to
So
go.
the odds at that point, yeah.
At that point in time, if the dead money was even $5 million, whatever it is, he got to go. I mean,
right,
you just got to move on.
And I'd assume that he'll sign a 1 year or 2 year deal with the team in the Midwest, closer to home. I think that's one of the biggest things too. His family lives back in Utah. That's a long ways away. So I think that so we actually got a question real quick, Mal, before we move on to our final topic about Cole Beasley and Isaiah McKenzie's big day performance from the small guy. Who you think is shining this week versus the Falcons?
This is gonna be a Stevenson week.
Really, Marquez?
He's gonna get a big return this week. I'm calling it. He's going to get a big return this week. I feel it. I just feel it. I can kind of see it there. You could tell he's still a little hesitant at times. Lack of experience. But he has something with him. And honestly, we don't have a natural returner on this team. But that's another story. I could talk about that all day. We don't have a natural returner. Some guys, what fans fail to realize, they think because somebody's fast that they can just return. That's so false. But I think Stevenson, I think he'll have a big week I think he's going to have a really big return. But other than Stevenson, I'm going Devin Singletary. That dude has been balling. Fans don't realize it because they just look at the box score, look at stats. Look how well Devin Singletary's playing. That dude has elevated his game big time.
Yeah. You know what? I do want to talk about Motor a little bit, man. Motor's a guy that we've been pounding the table for since the summer. We've been pounding the table with this dude. And I think this week he had a total. I don't want to go into rushing yards this week. I want to go into touches. He had 17 touches for 80 yards. He looks a lot more comfortable in the passing game. As you pointed out to me on the phone the other day, he picked up in pass protection a lot better as well.
Yeah, I got cut-ups.
You got cut-ups? Oh!
I got some cut-ups in pass pro. That dude.
Time to play.
Do y'all realize how strong that man is? That man, you see how he drags people? He don't never, ever go down on first count. That dude drags people. He always falling forward. And he pass pro at 205 pounds like a big dog. I love it. I got 2 clips where Zach Moss got just embarrassed in pass pro. It was embarrassing. I felt embarrassed for him. I see you talking about Reggie Gilliam, Toledo boy, my brother's teammate at Toledo. Reggie Gilliam he's a beast. I called JT when he signed with him and told him he's weird. Reggie Gilliam, he's a problem. He's a tough dude. But Devin Singletary, man, that dude is a baller, man. And quit look at the box scores, man. That dude is going to be huge for us in this playoff run.
So and I don't want to get too far off topic because we do want to talk about McDermott a little bit, but yeah, I definitely want to give a shout out to Devin Singletary. Motor's been playing very good football, and you see that seems like Brian Dable's getting more comfortable with getting him involved. But I want to go back to the Sean McDermott thing and answering questions because I think that there was a lot of negativity going on with him after the Patriot loss and the Bucs loss. Do you think that people out of their minds jumping on Sean McDermott?
Bills fans, I love our Bills fans, but they're extreme. They may be the most emotional fans in the NFL with some of the stuff they say after a loss. Like, we do bad takes. Like, I know you pissed off. I know you mad, but like some of the ridiculous stuff I hear, like McDermott is one of the best coaches in the NFL. It would take us, if he left, I can't tell you how long it would take us to replace him. You know, that would be a very difficult task. That dude he's very smart. He's organized, you can tell. You know, and man, he answered a lot of questions. And one thing I like it too, he ain't no punk. He don't back down from a challenge. He got heart. He got courage. I would love that play for a coach like that that's ready to go to war. And he didn't back down from the Belichick. You know, the Belichick is the man. Belichick is this. He's the GOAT. After they took that whooping here in Buffalo, he stepped up to the mic. He said, I got a trick for Belichick. Last laugh is the best laugh.
Big facts. Look who joined us. My man Mookie Hawk is in the building. Mook, better late than never, my man. Big win this week. What you hearing from One Bills Drive down there, man? What's the atmosphere down that way right now?
Well, I mean, hey, it's business as usual. You know, I mean, the guys have just been locked in. You know, for the past 10 quarters, the Bills has been locked in. Like, you know, we didn't got another glimpse of you know, that twinkle in the eye after that Houston playoff loss. You know, they just been really locked in since then. I mean, you know, right now it's just they're playing like a team that's been here before, and they're doing a good job of not getting you know, too high and too low with the situation. You seeing Josh before your eyes, you know, process things a little bit more better, you know what I mean, down the stretch. That's what you want to see out of your quarterback. And, you know, you see the end result of it. You know, he's out there making plays. He's fixing Dable's wrongs. And, you know, the defense has been playing, you know, it's getting better. So they could be getting better no better than the right time. You know, when you're back up against the wall, the Bills answer the bell. So, I know that was very, very satisfying to all Bills fans. I know they can go into Foxborough. They get the job done the way they did. You know?
Right. One of the biggest questions was McDermott's aggressive play calling from this Patriot game, and the opinion of him was he was conservative going to this game. Did he shut up a lot of haters? Did he silence a lot of doubters with the coaching performance and the guts and as I saw the ballsy performance this week?
Yeah, I mean, you can't. I mean, there was instances in the game and it was still some head scratchers, but you know, I ain't gonna let that override. You know what I mean? What actually happened? They really went into, you know, in the Foxborough and punched New England in the mouth. So I can't be mad at anything, you know what I mean, that didn't go the Bills' way. You know what I mean? That we know should have went their way. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they still managed to score over 30 points. You know, they was inside the red zone the entire game. You know, so it's just things that they know they need to clean up. If they are to play New England and get in the playoffs, I mean, the confidence should definitely be sky high at this point. You know, because they definitely left some things out there. So, all in all, the aggressive approach, I mean, finally, you know, I guess this is Coach McDermott's putting his stamp on it. I mean, I go back to conversations with him last year around the same time, and, you know, he was talking about having that balance and playing with a more physical and aggressive nature. I mean, you got to get back to that. I mean, I understand the scheme is a scheme, but when a scheme isn't working, you have to improvise and you have to, you know, put your players in position to make plays and play them to their strengths, you know, to get some sort of continuity going towards the playoffs. And I think they're doing a good job of that. You know, they're playing aggressive on both ends of the football. And, you know, I think the Bills can withstand playing aggressive. I mean, we're not even – we keep in mind, Tre'Davious White hasn't played in weeks. Nobody's talking about that. You know what I mean? Like, we even forgetting that he's even out there. I mean, you know, I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Forget that he's out there.
You're right.
You know? So, you know, they can do this style of play as well. I mean, you know, James, you know how it is when your scheme is your scheme, and you know your scheme works. I just need these players here, and then you know, it's for some strange reason it's just not working. You have to improvise, and you know, I think you know the Bills have done a good job of improvising, recognizing what it is, and putting the gas on the pedal a little bit there. Playing for the playoff line. So they're not taking it for granted. They're going out there getting the job done, but you see a whole different demeanor in Josh these past 10 quarters of how he's been locked in, and he's not really been on too much talking. He's been a man of really short words, but you started emotion after this one. We all know what he's been saying in locker rooms and all that good stuff. But I ain't told y'all, Josh been from the east side. Josh from the east side of Buffalo. You know what I mean? So we all know Josh do that type of stuff. But that dog mentality, that's what I want on my quarterback. That swag, he talked the talk and he walked the walk when it's time to do it. You know what I mean? And here's a kid that's been, a lot of people didn't believe in him coming all the way from where he came from out of Fireball. You know what I mean? So that chip on the shoulder is still there. And, they just, I guess they lit the fire at the right time, because he's locked in right now. He's definitely locked in right now.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I know we talked about that earlier in the day, earlier in the show about Josh Allen and his mannerisms, and now he's not just a quarterback, he's an athlete, he's a competitor, and that's what we want, that's what we like, that's what we want to have back there. Because when the moments get tough, he gonna keep playing, and he gonna keep coming back for more. You have to knock him out about 10, 12 times. He gonna come back for more. He gonna keep getting up, coming back. He like that little brother that just won't stop fighting. So, but no, one of the things I wanted to talk about tonight before we sign off is the performance of one Isaiah McKenzie. And there's two parts to this. Obviously, that the part is there was no Cole Beasley this week, obviously due the COVID protocols. And the other part was Isaiah McKenzie. Obviously, this was a guy who was inactive just a few weeks ago, came in, and as Sean McDermott always say, stay ready and make the best of your moments. I believe Brian Dable made a comment on Isaiah McKenzie today that he's always ready. He's always ready to go, to the tune of 11 catches, 125 yards, and about 3 huge catches at the last drive. From a guy who was almost inactive and seemed like he never played another down in Buffalo a couple weeks ago, he steps up in the absence of Cole Beasley. Two parts here. Does this mean McKenzie needs to be a part of the offense on a game-to-game basis, every game? I don't care if he's not returning. And does this definitely signal the end of Cole Beasley run in Buffalo at the end of the season? James, I'll come to you first.
What I think it says is he needs to touch the ball 5 to 7 times a game. Period. Isaiah McKenzie should have the ball in his hands 5 to 7 times a game. Period. Nothing to talk about. However you design it up, put the ball in his hands 5 to 7 times per game, and this is going to keep defensive coordinators up at night. So that's on Dable. You have to do that. He should. I was wrong about it. I was like, he should be inactive. Sometimes you just need to be woke up. Mookie, you know how I go. JT, you know how I go. Some dudes, you get a little comfortable, get complacent. And then you got to give him poke bear a little bit. And they woke him up. He got his attention. In regards to the Cole Beasley thing, I don't think he's gone because that salary cap number is so low. I think it would be foolish to let him go and then just have such a big turnaround in that receiver room. I think, obviously Emmanuel Sanders, I probably think he retires at the end of this year. McKenzie, I think he's going to be gone. Somebody's going to pay him. I don't think we're not going to do it. Then you got Gabe Davis, Cole Beasley, and Stephon Diggs. And then you're probably going to draft somebody pretty high. Unless I want to see what Isaiah Hodgins got as well. But I don't think you flip the room that much.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you get back. You're back. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I mean, I personally think that I said last night or Sunday, I think wherever Brian Dable goes, that's where Isaiah McKenzie's going to free agency. I just tend to feel that way. But when it also comes back to Cole Beasley, I, however, do believe Cole Beasley is playing his last season in Buffalo at a 6 point. And actually, the cap number is $6.2 million in the offseason. I don't think that this shows that Isaiah McKenzie and Cole Beasley are even better than Cole Beasley. I think this just mostly showed that Cole Beasley can be replaced, which That's not necessarily good either. Mook, Isaiah McKenzie's big game. Cole Beasley, what's the deal?
I mean, he was a focal point of your offense last year. I just don't understand why it was just a drop off. And this is just another, thing that goes back to the OC. We don't never stick to things that work. I mean, McKenzie caught a jet sweep, for a touchdown. Who was that? He got the end around the jet sweep. We don't go back to those plays. I had to ask Dable yesterday. I said, is he's going to get more creative plays for him now, because last time he played like this, he scored 3 touchdowns and he ain't touched the ball for the rest of the season.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he ain't touched the ball for the rest of the season. Here it is, probably one of the fastest guys on your team, and he's not out there. Okay, I understand, he had a few boo-boos returning the punts. But obviously, him playing within the offense is a different player,
Mm-hmm.
If you got to take him away from, returning kicks and punts, but you need him. Obviously, you see what he's doing out there in big games. Beasley don't have that necessary speed, that McKenzie brings to the table. Now, I give Beasley, he's more shifty, more crafty, and running routes. But when the game is on the line and you need that separation, that's the difference. You need that speed. And I mean, I'm quite sure that McKenzie is ready to, take the reins, if you will. I mean, if we looking at him from the business side, of course, I'm going to take the younger, faster, stronger guy and work with that, because he opens up my playbook more. You're not running jet sweeps with Beasley. Like, I could do a little bit more creatively with McKenzie out there, and at times being a decoy than I can with Cole Beasley right now. You know what I mean? And I mess with Sauce. You know what I mean? That's my guy. But I'm looking at it from a business standpoint right now. I mean, this is the type of production we're looking for out of our slot receiver, that we haven't been getting. Why? So, I just think that he brings more to the table at this point. And Bills definitely has a decision, but he's Isaiah get another crack again this week. He can't go from 12 targets to 4 targets this week, and if he does, then this is something that I always say, that the Bills are in their own way, and something needs to change about that. Like, this just proves my point. They don't stick to what works. If or here it is, for some strange reason, Isaiah McKenzie ain't the focal point, or not even thought about in the offense this week, then we're in our own way. And I don't. It's still cloudy for the Bills in the postseason. You know what I mean? If they continue to play like that, you know what I mean? That I don't know what you call that, but that has to at some point, it's either going to catch up to you, or it's going to make you look like a genius. You know what I mean? I hope it makes you look like a genius. You know what I mean? But man, I mean, we don't stick to what works. We just don't. I mean, even inside the red zone, Zach Moss gets tripped up, and we don't run the ball no more. We just pass the ball 3 straight times. 3 straight times. And then we get down there again, and then we pass the whole series down there. We pass 4 straight times. I'm like, man, so I got a phone call about it too. And I was like, no, you know what? I respect that call by Josh keeping it up the middle, because they ran the guy in motion and the middle was wide open. They just got to bring a tackle to come pull and clean that guy up when he showed. Now, Josh, you can just run straight up untouched,
James, I see so
you shouldn't even be discussing this. Zach Moss, that was putrid. That was embarrassing as a professional running back. That was embarrassing, man. There's no way in the hell. Look how often do you see a professional running back run into the back of his lineman in the NFL?
That
was ridiculous, man.
It was definitely a hole there.
Other things I'm not going to put out there, and I'm not going, because I think he's a pretty good player. But that right there alone was pathetic. If that was Devin Singletary, that would have been a touchdown. The man avoided contact, shifted over to the right. He runs into his own man and slips and falls. No, you take that extra step left, you a little bit wider, you lower your pass, and you finish behind your pass, and you get in the end zone. You get to pay dirt at all costs. Somebody gonna get it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, he lost his foot in there. Ooh.
Period. That right there, done with it, man. His ass should be inactive this week. That was ridiculous. And those missed. I ain't gonna get started on it. Zach Moss let me down that game, man. You too big, you too talented, you got too much ability to look the way you do running the ball at times, man. If I'm the Bills, I'm trading his ass as soon as I get a chance. If you're supposed to be our power back, you're supposed to be the power back. You're supposed to be the muscle. Josh Allen shouldn't be getting the carries he's getting. They doing it because he's not taking care of his responsibility. He's not running the ball right. That's why his ass has been inactive three times this year. You the power back. You're supposed to be the muscle. That right there, you talking about you want people to make business decisions. No, lower your pads, run his ass over, and we doing the dance in the end zone. Come on, man. That was sorry. No excuse for that. I don't want to hear nobody, no fans. Well, you professional running backs do not run into the backs or run into a leg and get tripped up of their offensive lineman. That means lack of awareness. That's one of the number one things you need. Top 3 things you need as a successful running back is awareness. His awareness is that ass. You shouldn't be active.
Yeah, I know somebody. I know I wasn't the only one that saw that. I'm like, damn, did he trip over his own feet? Like, damn, like the hole was there, man. Like, what happened? That was a nice play and everything. When we don't go back to it no more, you know. I'm like, oh God, we only need a half a yard, man. Why is we passing the ball?
I wouldn't have ran it. I would have passed it too. I wouldn't have ran his ass on a half yard running like that. I wouldn't have ran it.
Man, well, you see what happened when they finally gave it to Singletary right there. Like, you gotta run it, man. Like, we can't keep continuing to be pain freaks with this at times. We gotta trust the run, man. You gotta be able to trust the run. Your line is pass blocking 50 times a game.
Listen, Zach Moss needs to be traded the first available day. You need to trade him. He got to go. You can't be the muscle man. Supposed to be the muscle back, but you got to use your quarterback because your 220-pound running back who's supposed to be the muscle can't get the job done. So if you're not the muscle man and we got to use our $258 million quarterback to do that, why are you here? He got to go.
Yeah, but he still got like 4 yards on that run. I would have still gained the ball again. You know what I mean? Analytics says, right?
The way he ran,
Analytics.
Mookie, you've been coaching for a long time, Mookie. If you have, matter of fact, I'll put it like this, Mookie. If you had a running back that tripped up like that, one, you would have took him out. He wouldn't even have been in the next play, Mookie. Am I wrong? I know you for a long time. You would have took his ass out.
Well, my running backs would have never did that. And if they did do it, that'd be the first time they ever did it in a game, and I would have gave him the ball again. It's not like he was a repeat offender every week.
But you go back
every week. You know he ain't gonna be out there every week doing this every week. He in his own way.
But you know what? This is the second time versus New England because you had the first game versus New England when he didn't break it outside, they said, and it was an open lane for a touchdown. So that may have been his second strike.
And that was his read as a running back. I watched the all 22. That's his read. You reading the hat of the last man on the line of scrimmage. You're reading the hat of that defender. The hat of the defender was inside. So your read takes you outside. The man runs inside. That's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just more or less of him just developing, that into the league. Sometimes it takes a while, you know what I mean? Especially when you run in zone and you used to doing it in college, but in NFL, it's a different speed, James. You know that, you know what I mean?
But at the same time, those certain reads, that's not an adjustment. It's either there or it isn't. You read the hat inside, you read the hat outside. That's different. Now, we talking second level reads, stuff like that's a little different. We talking this man missing first level reads. That's a major problem.
I tell you what, you guys don't see James. James is pretty much even kill at all times.
You talking about the running back?
You start talking about that running back.
If you missing first level reads as a running back, you're not good enough to play. if you're missing first level reasons or running back, you're not good enough to play. That's a problem. There's a reason why they
You
didn't
can't
activate
press the
them, man.
hole. You can't press that hole. You ain't out there. That's for sure. You can't press that hole for me. Oh man.
I don't think
my thing is this. Somebody answer this
Right
for me.
over
You're supposed to be the muscle. You're supposed to be the muscle of the group. If your quarterback has to do it, why are you here? Why are you here? You're supposed to be that guy, and you're not. Why are you here?
I think they're trying to figure that out, man. I think they're trying to figure
figured
it
it out. March, whatever date, you find suitors, you get them up out of here, man.
But you gotta understand too that thing goes hand in hand too. The trust got to be there up front, and we don't know who's been blocking up front on a week to week. It changes every week. So for you to run zone, you definitely got to be able to trust your line and know.
I get it, but you can't miss reads. I don't give a damn if it's zero trust. I'm not gonna miss my read.
Yeah, one cut, you better got to hit it right.
I'm not gonna miss my read.
Pre-snap should tell you that, really.
Yeah, I mean,
your pre-snap should tell you that.
While we at it, man, y'all make sure that y'all go to zemoapparel.com and get that new Zach Moss apparel. While we on it,
while we going to home, man.
Yeah,
go get that new Zemo, man.
Honestly, I like what he brings to the table. It's just some things, especially as a running back, it's just unacceptable, man.
It gets you fired up, man.
Why not just if we're gonna do that, then just put his ass in an eye offset, man, and go downhill with him. Why we gotta get this damn RPO with him? I
thought we had Gilliam in the game. That was the first play I seen with a fullback I could remember this whole season, just about.
He's been in quite a few times.
I mean,
ironically, when he's at fullback, he usually goes out for a pass, though.
Right.
We so small. We so small when it comes to our run game, from the fullbacks to the running backs to the linemen. Dude, I mean, you look at why New England run the ball all the damn time. You see how big their line is? The news is huge, man. Trent Brown up there jumping up around. He's 6'8", 350. It's hard to get around that, especially if he can move. And then Isaiah Wynn is just as big. They got some big hogs up front, man. You know what I mean? That's why our ends can't get they can't get around to the quarterback quick enough. They too big, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, we gotta get some big linemen, man. We gotta get a few more big linemen.
We missing some big ones. We missing the big ones. So especially at that guard position. I think they're gonna fix that. I think they're gonna fix that because I think they tired of not being able to run the ball when they want to run the ball. And I think a lot of questions have been answered the last couple of weeks. Is it the backs? Obviously you can upgrade at the position. I'm not saying you can't upgrade the position, but it ain't the grade that a lot of people thought it was. You know what I mean? This wasn't some grade B beef or whatever. You know what I'm saying? These running backs
they should have just left the line alone. Whatever the run scheme was, you didn't have to change it because you brought Stephon Diggs and Quentin Spain. Josh was wasn't even getting touched, and Oda Singletary was running for man. He was
5 yards a carry. 5.5 yards a carry.
What changed? It's not the same people. You changed the scheme, and you know what I mean. You got people losing weight and all of that. That ain't what they do.
Bobby Johnson will be one of the first people out the door in the offseason, in my opinion.
That's bad what they doing with that line. Now everybody pays, so who you gonna get rid of? You got to draft. You got to hit right on alignment. You know what I mean?
You need one more with a nasty streak like Spencer Brown. Got nice guys up front.
Right.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're gonna have to go into free agency.
But Mookie, running the ball starts with attitude.
Right.
Yeah.
It do start with an attitude, but
we got some cool dudes up front, like Feliciano, he even though, he got a mean streak with him, he more he playing jokes on you.
It ain't the players though. It's the play calling. It's the play calling first. If the play calling ain't aggressive, then it ain't the players ain't gonna be aggressive. You're not giving me no aggressive plays. They not going. You're not gonna be.
When you look at the personnel, what dog do we have on the offensive line outside Spencer Brown?
I'll say Deion is one. One.
But I'm talking about just a mean ass dude. I'm saying
I'll say Deion. I say Deion.
He's good. He's good.
We
But I'm
got rid
talking
of
about
that.
this.
We got rid of
Richie
that. We got
Incognito,
rid
this
of that. We got
nasty
rid of
dude.
Quentin Spain. We got rid of Quentin Spain. He was we got rid of that. We got rid of Quentin Spain. He was the guy. He was the shit talker.
I still don't get that one.
The scheme changed. The scheme changed. They make the man lose all his weight. He ain't winning no battles, and they want to make like the blame is on him. So it's like, I mean, get him out of here. Yeah, get me out of here. You just signed him. You just signed him to 3 years, $15 million.
Well, that's what happened with Quentin Spain. We know what happened with Quentin Spain. What happened with Quentin Spain is, you simply he signed a team friendly deal. He didn't test for agency. He showed loyalty, and then you dog him out. It's the first chance you got under that new contract.
Well, Feliciano's doing the same thing. Look, he had to lose weight too. He ain't having no good season this year. He's battling injuries, COVID, and all that stuff.
What they got him losing weight for?
Because you got to be athletic to be a zone run team. You got to be in shape. You can't be big and fat. We're changing maulers into zone run guys, and it's not working out. It's too late in the game, to try to change what they are. They are what they are at this point. You're trying to change them, and that's just not good look for the run game. That's why the run game look how it looks. We're not aggressive. They're used to more. We brought Feliciano from the Raiders because he was a physical mauler. You know what I mean? Now we're running this zone and this passive aggressive style offense, run style. And it's hard for running backs to make reads because the lines ain't there. They're not trusting the holes to be there. And it's just one big mess. But, Josh Allen got better run plays, than the running backs. And, that's another issue. You got to fix the run game with the creative play designer, your offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? And it's just, man, thank God we got Josh Allen. I'll tell you that because he makes Dable. He fixes Dable a lot, in certain areas. But I did like the selective play calling this week. I like this going over the middle. I mean, damn, teams playing you in 4-man pressures, dropping 7 off. Of course, you gotta have mesh routes, crossing routes. You can't just be running digs off and think something's gonna be there. Like, it's just they gotta change that. But nevertheless, they control their own destiny. They did what they're supposed to do. And they got to bring the heat again. The home game, these next 2 games, so everything is in their favor. They got to come with the same fire, the same juice, have the same demeanor these next 2 weeks. Take that into the playoffs, and then it don't really matter who they play. I think they play better when they play the top teams. I mean, but whoever is going to be a good team. It's going to be a good team no matter what.
Before we get off, I'm going to ask you gentlemen this. We got totally off that Zen McKenzie Beasley thing, but that's okay. It ain't that important anyway.
So I cut out here.
Yeah.
Well, we want to see McKenzie in the works this week. You want to see him in the works this week. We don't want to. We're gonna hide that because we might think teams looking. Who cares? Like, this is what I say. We be in our own way with that. Now the book is out, Dable. You can't have this guy not being targeted this week.
Right.
You just can't. You know what I mean?
And James, you said 5 to 7 touches a game.
I think 5 to 7 touches. That don't mean you could target him more, but he needs to have the ball in his hands to make a play. 5 to 7.
Gotcha. So I prefer if you had a preferred first round matchup, and I'm assuming we went AFC East, we went out. Who would it be? Because mine's New England. I'd love to see, and I know that is a very dangerous thing. It's a very dangerous thing to see a team 3 times in the season. But I think that the Bills get up for New England. Like you said, Mookie, when they play top competition, and I don't think New England's top competition. I don't think McCorkle's a top quarterback. But I would prefer them to see New England because that's a game that they've been so maligned against them for the last – for some guy like Jerry Hughes, for his time period here in Buffalo, that they get up for that. They get that little extra juice. And I don't want to see, because I felt like last year they came out flat versus Indianapolis and almost blew that first round game. I want a game that they're going to get up for. I want New England first round. What about you, James? Hold on.
They did get out to a bad field position. Remember, they got the ball like at the 2. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you got to get out of that hole to get things going. You remember those big miraculous catches, the toe taps that Gabe Davis had to do. You know what I mean? Josh making a play once again. getting outside the pocket. And so that definitely tends to alter what you got to call, what you got set for the play. You usually think, okay, I'm gonna get the ball at the 20-25. Got a little bit more room to breathe, but yeah, they dig themselves out of the hole.
So who you want then? Who would you prefer them to play first round?
It's either gonna be probably Indy or New England anyway. It depends. It depends. I mean, the Bills went out. They control their own destiny. Worst case scenario, they'll be a 3 seed.
I think they're gonna be a 3 seed because I think the Bengals gonna lose to KC this week.
So if the Bengals lose to KC, and then we know New England's gonna beat
Jacksonville.
Miami, got 2 tough games because they play Tennessee and then they play, New England. So it's a lot of implications there. You could be playing Miami. You never know.
I'll take either one of them.
One of those 3 teams, man. It's either going to be Miami, the Colts, or New England. Those are going to be one of those 3 teams the Bills are going to play.
All right, James, who's your preferred matchup, man? Who you want them to see first round?
I'll have to say I wouldn't mind New England, but that kind of scares me because if we get in the game where the offense isn't clicking at first, and now you get into one of those chess matches. I don't know if I like that. I know I don't want to see the Ravens either. And I don't.
You may not see them in the postseason period where they're going.
Yeah, and, even though they're right there, the Colts I think is just a bad matchup for our team. They do well. We don't play well against. So I would have to say New England. It'd probably have to be a New England thing. So it's not likely we get that 2 seed, huh? Because that's Tennessee.
Well, not thanks to the 49ers blowing that game on the other night. Yes, it made it less likely. We would have had a shot if San Francisco won that game, but Tennessee holds a tiebreak over tie record.
Yeah.
And I believe Tennessee I think they have Jacksonville won those last 2 games as well. So we'll see. I do think we'll get the 3 seed, but I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, if KC slides, we could slide to the 2 seed. I don't see that happening. I think KC playing some of the best football in the AFC. So I'm not going
to lose. Everybody got to lose the next 2 weeks for the Bills to get home field.
Yeah, and that ain't going to.
It will be nice to get 2 or 3. How teams knock themselves off, and the next we the 3 seed. We the highest seed around here, huh?
Yeah.
At the crib.
And this is where that Jacksonville loss hurts. Right here at this moment. This is where that loss hurts us so badly is right now when it comes to seeding. Because right now without that loss, we're tied with Tennessee having a couple tough games, especially Miami's coming to town next week for them who's won 7 straight.
Right.
And we're actually at that point, we're 1 game behind the Chiefs. If they blow one to the Bengals, you're talking about the home field advantage. And this is where you can't lose games like that because it does ultimately come back to get you at this point in the season right here. But I mean, guys, it was a great show. I mean, I would think my man Mook, Bill's beat reporter, Wolf 1080 coming in, dropping some knowledge from One Bills Drive. Mallory's heart rate has calmed down. If you guys don't know anything about Mallory, man, he is even killed. But when he sees something about a running back that he does not like, now mind you, he has all the credentials in the world to talk running back. That's the only time you'll see him come on edge, man. Miss a block.
Running back, man, is just like, if you're gonna do the damn thing, let's do the damn thing, man. You can't be out there tiptoeing. You gotta have some buck in your heart, man. You got to be able to be ready to wrestle with these 240, 50-pound linebackers. You got to be able to lower your pads and just go through them. You know what I mean? These are things you got to do as a running back. You can't take plays off from doing your job as a running back. It's an attitude thing. It's not acceptable to me.
That's it. Any by here right now? Any final thoughts, man? We got Atlanta coming up this week. Anything going on with you? Holidays, New Year's playing? What's going on?
Oh man, you know me, man. I stay low and out the way. Love me some football, so ready for some football this weekend. I think this game is gonna be a little bit more difficult than people think. If we don't come out fast on offense, I think they'll hang around. We're gonna beat them, in my opinion, but let's not make this more of a game than what it needs to be. Our offense come out firing on all cylinders to begin with, we're gonna blow them out. If the offense come out sputtering, they're gonna make it a game. And let's not forget, they're gonna be up because it's 2 7-1-6 boys on their team. You got Quadri and you got Steve Means on their team. So them boys gonna be up to in the locker room. Them boys gonna be up to protect they homies home. They coming back home. So people got to realize that, Mookie. You know how that go. They talking about that all week. Quadri and Steve Means is coming to play. So we got to be on point.
And Steve Means, Super Bowl winner with the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Mook, anything going on? What you got new? New exciting? What's going on, man?
Well, you know, hey, we you know, just keep it locked to Waffle. You know, on Wednesday nights, Monday nights, and you know, Sundays after the games. You know, we're gonna get some things going in reference to Saturday shows. And you know, we're trying to expand some things, you know, over there at Waffle. So just be on the lookout for that. But you know, most importantly, man, you know, hey, you can always check me here every Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Tuesday touchdown. Your Tuesday touchdown.
You know, it's just business. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Not personal.
Yeah, nothing personal at all. But my final thoughts, yeah, they can't come, you know, just lacking because they almost lost to Detroit. We can't have that attitude, you know. We can't have that attitude. The Lakers are like they finally want to win a game now. About time. Triple dub too, bro. Could have bet him on Vegas. They was giving them 5. I should have took it, but yeah. They can't. You gotta have that same mentality, same attitude. You gotta go out here and treat Atlanta like they Tampa Bay. I mean, right now, I'll just be like everybody look like Tampa Bay right now to me. You know what I mean? And keep playing that like that. Everybody is Tampa Bay. You know, that's what I'll be, you know, having a mindset. Everybody out here look like Tampa Bay and Kansas City right now, you know, and just go out there and treat it as such. And, you know, hopefully they look up, you know, they have the East and, you know, and if everything play out how it's supposed to play out, they might, you know, they could. You never can say never. They take care of business, control their own destiny, you know. We'll just have to see where they place. But more or less, they'll be a 3 seed, you know. They'll be a 3 seed. And, you know, with that 3 seed, they'll end up playing probably playing the Colts.
New England, I would think.
New England on the Colts.
Yeah, New England Colts.
They're 3-play shit.
I think the Colts got the Raiders and somebody else left. It wasn't two tough games, but we've seen stranger things in this season. This has probably been
Jacksonville. I think they played Jacksonville the last game in the season.
This has been the strangest season by far I've seen in the NFL.
Jacksonville can pull one off at home.
But no, I mean, Bills did what they supposed to do when the Foxborough got the dub. This week we got Atlanta coming to town. You know, I think that it's all business from here. I think that they know the severity of the situation. They play that. They come on. They play the same hunger. They'll win this game, and they'll win this game pretty easy, as James said. My biggest thing is I like to see some sacks this game. You got an older quarterback in Matt Ryan. You got an offensive line that's kind of shaky. I like to see 4 sacks on the board. Give me 4 sacks this game.
Some blitz. They got to keep blitzing. They can't be that 4-man. I don't know. That 4 don't get it, man. Every time they just some 4, we ain't getting to the quarterback. We ain't getting to the quarterback, and they was doing that sometimes in the game this week. You know, and that's what I said. Like, you gotta keep the pedal on the foot on the gas, man. Like, send heat at this dude, man. We kept getting that matchup with 16 coming across the middle. And they was converting on a few fourth down. Why is he so wide open? You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. Like, we're not getting no pressure to the quarterback. You know, we got to send somebody there. You know, we got to send 5 to 6 guys at times. We can't. The 4 is just not getting it right now. No. You know, they're just not getting it. So, you know, once we figure that one out, especially on 3rd down, I mean, they doing a good job. They was 1 for 10. You know, it was just that the Bills forced New England to play their style of game other than the Bills playing New England style, a more slower pace. They dictated the tempo. You know, and that's good. That's why you see the Bills is just being ultra aggressive, going for it on 4th down. We're not going to slow this pace down. You know, they did not slow it down at all. There was just certain play calls here and there, but you know, they created the tempo the entire game.
Right. Right. Yeah. Come out. Do what you do. Do your business. Handle it. Let's get this AFC East wrapped up. Hopefully New England takes a bad L to Jackson that I don't necessarily foresee it coming, but hey, you never know. The great stranger things have happened this season.
It's New Year's resolution.
And let's stay aggressive. Stay aggressive on both sides of the ball. So I want to thank my co-host tonight, man James Mallory, former NFL running back, Buffalo great, and my man Mookie Hawkins, Wolf 1080. Got a lot of things going on over there, so make sure you check him out on Twitter, follow him everywhere, and we'll be back next week, hopefully with another dub, and hopefully we're asking who they think Josh Allen was again. So for everybody tuning in, thank you for tuning into your Tuesday touchdown. I am your host, JTM. It's nothing personal. It's just Bills. Let's get it. We'll see you guys next week. Same time, same place. Hopefully, same result. Peace.
Peace, Josh.